Hello there, everyone. Sylvan Bard here, and welcome to another movie review. Back when I did my review of Snoopy Come Home, I said I'd get into doing A Boy Named Charlie Brown, the first Peanuts movie, at some point. Well, I'm here to do that. And I have to say that where Snoopy Come Home would be my first favorite Peanuts movie, with the Peanuts movie coming in second, this one would be pretty low when compared to the other two Peanuts movies. So, let's get into a movie that features the characters created by Charles M. Schulz. A Boy Named Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown has lived a life of nothing but failures, including not flying a kite, not winning a baseball game, and not kicking a football. But when he tries out at a school spelling bee, in which the words he spells coincidentally relate to him, he happens to be good at it. Quite good that his friends have him going for the National Spelling Bee, where Charlie Brown stays up late studying for the contest. But then there's scenes of Lucy being Charlie Brown's manager, and Linus trying to retrieve his blanket after giving it to Charlie Brown for good luck, and they're just pointless. Even the moments, which I call filler moments, are very pointless. Schroeder playing his piano as images of Beethoven's past or something goes by, Snoopy skating and, quote-unquote, playing hockey in I Believe Rockefeller, the national anthem before the ball game, they don't further anything, aren't that engaging, and just used to pad the film out. Though, the music for it was okay. And speaking of music, the songs in the film are mainly okay, but they're not much. And there's only 4 of them, 3 made by Ron McCoon and 1 by John Scott Trotter. The first one, A Boy Named Charlie Brown, is fine. It has a nice tune and fine vocals by McCoon, but that's really it. The second one, Failure Face, is quite a downer considering it's sung by Lucy, Patty, and Violet, and is a painful topper for all that's been happening to Charlie Brown. The third one, Champion Charlie Brown, has another nice tune and a nice feel, but that's all there is to it. And the fourth one, by Trotter, I-B-4-E, has a nice way of teaching and learning how to spell. But it's a bit rushed and hard to know what Charlie Brown and Linus are saying, even when the visuals aren't helping much. Of course there are tunes used in previous Peanut specials, thanks to composer Vince Guaraldi, yet it's hard to enjoy in a film like this. But now let's go over the biggest issue I have with this film, the failures of Charlie Brown. Sure, it's not the whole film, but the first 10 or 20 minutes is just painful and depressing, even when Lucy plays back Charlie Brown's football kick in slow motion that she happens to record as well. And with Charlie Brown's many faults in the film, it begs the question, was he a born loser, or did the other kids, even the girls, made him look bad by not helping out at all? Because in a world where losing a baseball game or not flying a kite is bad luck for Charlie Brown every day, it's really not that funny when it turns out that everyone does them better without him. For a comic strip franchise that I really enjoy reading, and maybe even love, I don't really get invested in storylines that involve Charlie Brown having bad moments, except for with the little red-haired girl and in 3 shows of her. Boy, I got really sidetracked there. Well, let's wrap this up since there's not much with the voice talent. As a whole, this movie is not only depressing, but it's also painful, boring, and very questionable. The characters are uninteresting, the story, though simple, is not entertaining, the animation is okay, for the most part, and the songs are okay, but don't add much. Director Bill Melendez has done a fairly mad job at bringing Schultz's characters to the big screen for the first time. But it doesn't help very much when most of the film focuses on Charlie Brown's faults and the other characters tend to not back him up, as well as certain moments that slow the film down and don't add anything. While it's not the worst Peanuts movie I've seen, it still comes down as bad for my taste. So today, this movie would be given a rating of 2 stars. So thank you for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Facebook or Twitter, and tune in next week for a new video. Well, I wasn't expecting this, but I decided to do another movie review based on a film that I saw in theaters. So, here it is, and I hope you enjoy it. let's look into a movie that, while interesting in concept, just doesn't hold much for feature length. It's the first R-rated CGI film, Sausage Party. The story takes place in a grocery store called Shopwell's, where the food believed that humans, which they call gods, would bring them to what's known as the Great Beyond. But then a sausage named Frank, a bun named Brenda, a bagel named Sammy Bagel Jr., and a lavish named Karam go back to their home after getting into an accident with a shopping cart. But Frank wants to know what lies in the Great Beyond, and what he finds out has him rally up the food to fight back. Directors Conrad Vernon and Greg Kierman had done an okay film, as being what I consider the adult equivalent of Food Fight. Except there's no recognizable characters of popular foods, has more logic in its story, has decent animation, and surprisingly I haven't seen that movie. But even saying that doesn't help much. The whole film is so okay that there's no reason for it to exist, and it's kind of dull, except to have a gritty yet exaggerated look into an idea that sounds childish and friendly. Despite having puns and parodies involving food, and Alan Menken of Disney fame composing half the music and the film's only song, The Great Beyond, there's nothing much else to it. Both the story and characters are okay, and the animation is decent, but most of it is sort of uninteresting. So today I'm giving this movie a rating of 2.5 stars. So that is it. Thank you for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Facebook or Twitter, and tune in next week for a new video, and take care.